don't go in and just open up a checking account. Meet a personal banker within the bank and develop a relationship with that personal banker. That is part of your offense. You need to have people that you can work with who can help you develop a financial plan and develop a team approach to what you're trying to accomplish. Another offensive individual, I think, that you ought to have, to the extent that you feel that you're kind of making some progress and not just living from paycheck to paycheck, is to have a financial planner or somebody that is going to help you look down the road as well, not just look in the short term. One of the sheets that I gave you, the other side of the asset liability, basically says focus on some financial goals for the next 12 to 18 months. Write those down and share that with either your personal banker or your financial planner. Get a team approach to what you're trying to do. If you try to do this solo, I will tell you that you'll make a lot of mistakes that could be avoided. So don't try to do it solo. You're going to make emotional decisions as opposed to good financial decisions. So develop a team approach. There are people out there that want to help you, and you can ask your friends or other people that you might be working with. Who are you working with? Who have you had a good experience with? Probably not. You probably don't want to just look in the paper and the yellow pages and pull out something. But talk to friends. Find out who people are working with, and develop kind of a team approach to it. I think you need to review your goals on an annual basis. My wife and I have been reviewing. We have one day a year, and sometimes it's a weekend, when we review our financial. We call it the state of the family, and we review a whole bunch of stuff. But part of that is our financial planning, and we've done that for the last 29 years. And we do it on January 19th, or closest to January 19th of every year. Why did we do that? Because that's when we met. We met on January 19th. So we think that's a good time to look at it. It's after the end of each year. So take some time to sit down and review. I'll tell you, our financial statement 29 years ago was not pretty. But it gave, over the number of years, gave us the opportunity for me to retire at age 60, and keep score. It helps you kind of grow. It helps you kind of get energized about the growth that you're seeing in your financial planning. So I would encourage you to do that. You also need to have longer-term goals. That sheet down at the bottom says, think about buying a house at some point down the road, or if you're going to have children, if you get married and that sort of thing. You're obviously going to need to start thinking about educational costs. You don't know what it costs to come here. Imagine what it's going to be another 30 years, 25, 30 years down the road for children that you might have, and then add another 20 years on top of that. So it's very expensive. So you need to start thinking ahead. I know that doesn't help you in the short term in terms of when you first leave here, and I think John touched on some of those expenses. But start thinking not only 12 to 18 months, but a little further out. And when I was probably 20 years into my employment and thinking about retirement, I used to have a retirement file, and an idea that just came, I would just drop it in that file. Didn't think a lot about it, but just dropped it in. And today I'm doing some of the things that I've never had an opportunity to do, like come back up here and attend class at Sewanee, which I did this last semester. So it's just lots of opportunities to grow over time, and that's really what you want to do. And I think again, your attitude towards this, your can-do attitude, is extremely important. You need to think in your own mind that these goals that you have are attainable, and they will happen if you believe that they will happen. Another thing thing that I think is important for you to have, and you know, it's really kind of a personal thing, and you know, we could have a whole session on another topic, but I think you need to have personal goals in addition to financial goals. I know a lot of people who I've worked with in my business, a lot of wealthy individuals who have a lot of money, but they're not happy in their personal lives. And so, you know, it's important for you to have personal goals and to put those down on paper and to think about, you know, what do you want your life to be? What kind of things are important to you? Do you want to have a lot of cultural activities mixed in with, you know, your fun and travel or whatever it might be? So think about what your personal goals are. Going back to the more practical stuff relative to managing money, I would suggest you create pockets of money. Now, your savings account or a money market fund, whatever it happens to be, you can have an entire fund, but maybe have a spreadsheet or a ledger at home that says a certain percentage of that is allocated towards travel, certain of it is allocated towards whatever else that you might want it to be. What you don't want to do is save to spend. If you save to spend, it'd be great to save that 10%, but if it all gets wasted in going out and taking an extravagant trip, you're going to start over again and you're never really going to progress to where you want to be. So have pockets of money over and above that 10%. That 10% is for investment only. So, you know, when you find yourself kind of getting ahead a little bit, you need to then create a pocket for travel. You know, create a maybe for a new car or whatever it happens to be. You really need to have built up before you start spending in other areas. You really need to have 3 to 6 months of your salary put away for emergency. Have you all ever heard of doing that? 3 to 6 months for emergency funds. You know, if somebody lays you off, you're in a job and you get laid off in the kind of economy that we're in, it can create some real problems for you. So, you know, build up cash reserve and then create separate pockets for the purposes of doing something over and above your investment and over and above your emergency fund. So you need an investment fund, you need an emergency fund, you need a travel fund, you need a car fund, entertainment fund, whatever it happens to be, whatever you choose to have, but you need to create separate pockets for the things that you want to do. And if you will do that, I think you'll be better off. Another little trick that my wife and I play, which has helped us over the years. Who has a credit card here? Do you use it? Do you find it creates problems for you at times? If you use a credit card, every time we use a credit card, we write that in our check register as if we had just written a check. You've just spent the money. So put it into your checking account, into your check register, as an item that you just spent money on. It doesn't come out of your bank account, but you're going to have to write that check at the end of the month. So you need to pull down your balance in your checking account. You're going to end up, when you reconcile your checking account, whether it's every day or middle of the month or the end of the month, you're going to have an excess amount of funds in there. But when that credit card bill comes in, that excess amount of funds is going to pay for the credit because you've already reserved the money in order to pay it. So be careful with credit cards. You really, they can put a lot of people into a difficult position. But if you use it wisely, or in many cases we use an ATM card so that money comes out right away. Very rarely do we, if we use a plastic card, do we actually use it for credit. We use an ATM card, so the money comes right out of the checking account and we don't have to worry about it down the road. So just little tricks to play. I think I'll stop there and give us 10 or 15 minutes for questions, and I'm sure you will.